Next is our public participation. It looks like we just have one person, Ms. Murphy. And do I need to read this? Okay.
Good evening. On tonight's agenda, you will be approving a change order for the new Chapin Middle School. But there have been a multitude of change orders on other new construction projects, which are more significant and have a greater impact on the budget that have not yet been disclosed. In the interest of transparency, I'm requesting through the Freedom of Information Act all construction change orders for Chapin High School, Dutch Fork High School, and Irmo High School. I'm also requesting copies of fully executed excuse me, amendments to contracts for the construction management firm, the contractors, and the architects for the 10 projects constructed with bond referendum funds. Thank you very much.
All right. That ends our public participation. Next is our action agenda. First on the agenda are the items considered in executive session. Do I have a motion for that? Ms. Bumgarner.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the selected employment items as shown in Exhibit A.
Okay, is there a second? Ms. Hammond seconds. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please raise your hands. All opposed, that passes 5-0. Next is the approval of the change order regarding the LED lighting at Chapin Middle School. May I have a motion?
I'll make it.
Ms. Lovelace.
Ms. Watson, I move that we approve the change order regarding the LED lighting at Chapin Middle School in Exhibit D.
Is there a second? Ms. Baumgartner seconds. Discussion? Was there a report that you wanted to give about that, or just continue with questions?
Ms. Watson.
I think Ms. Lovelace.
That's what I was going to ask, if we can explain why we were doing this.
Right. If,
okay.
Yes, if we could get an explanation about why we're doing the LED lighting.
Mr. Richardson or Mr. Huggins is here too.
We know why, but it's just nice to for our company to know why.
All right.
That's all right.
We had looked at some new innovations in LED lighting recently, and they've come a long way. So, you know, the energy savings alone, there's about a 4 to 5 year payback for us. So I thought it was pretty much a no-brainer. It's going to save us energy consumption on an annual basis. In addition to that, not even included in that payback, is we don't have to have custodians around our buildings changing out light bulbs, because these things have such a long life. So we're saving manpower, and we're spending a little bit more money up front, but I think long-term wise, we're going to save much more than what we're spending. That was the reasoning behind this.
Okay.
And he might can add something a little bit more technical than I just did.
Yeah. Mr. Huggins.
That's it in a nutshell. It's just saving dollars down the road. And as Mr. Richardson said, technology changes and it gets better. And when the middle school was designed, the faith that you would have in the savings might not have been there on design day, but as we got post-bid and can see what LED lighting can do in other projects that we've had, we felt, along with the staff, that it was the best way to go for y'all with maintenance dollars down the road. And that's what that upgrade cost is, not only for the change in the light, but also the infrastructure to make it happen out there. So it's a good move.
Okay. And I believe Mr. Richardson, or perhaps Dr. Hefner, when we were talking about the budget and this, and I'm trying to think of the terminology that you used, is that we're always talking about ways we can save money. And what is that term, Mr. Richardson?
I can't take credit for it. That's Dr. Hefner, but
Cost avoidance.
Cost avoidance.
Have to
okay.
spend a little money to save money, too. That's the one I was thinking about.
And see, I think that is so smart. I think that is really a smart way to operate, and with limited dollars, we'll have to find more ways to make an investment for long-term savings. So thank you for making that recommendation to the board. Any questions about construction? No, we're talking about the change order for LED lighting. Okay. Okay. Any other discussion? Yes, Ms. Allen.
And also with the LED lighting, it's better lighting, correct? Is it not just the savings? Do you think that it's better for, as far as, you know, not only the efficiency, but is it considered to give us better lighting?
Based on what I saw, yes. I liked it a lot better. I think it was, to me, being older and having trouble seeing sometimes, I thought it was a much better light to be able to
But you
to
know,
see
a
it.
lot of students talk to me sometimes about light bulbs that are flickering and that kind of thing, so even young eyes sometimes notice how lights do. I think maybe it'd be good, and Ms. Watson, you may can do this, or either
This
Ms.
is new
Dr.
innovation.
Hefner. Maybe there's, since there are people that wonder about change orders, do we have, we always have in the budget, we sometimes expect these kind of things that come up, and we know it can be something to better than when we first started, so that might be a good thing
Okay.
for the public to know, that as far as the way that it's budgeted. Because that's usually the big question. I know it's saving us money, and that I think we've explained why we're doing it, but sometimes people want to know the process.
Thank you. All right, I don't see any more discussion. All in favor of approving the change order regarding the LED lighting at Chapin Middle School as shown in Exhibit D, please raise your hands. And that passes 6-0. And we welcome Mr. Gant. I'm glad you were able to come here safely, arrive safely. The last action agenda is the approval of the request for permission to seek commercial zoning for Irmo High School, Irmo Middle, and Crossroads Middle School. May I have a motion? Ms. Lovelace.
Madam Chair, I move that we approve of the request to permission to seek commercial zoning for Irmo High School, Irmo Middle School, and Crossroads Middle Schools in Exhibit E.
Is there a second? Ms. Baumgartner seconds. Discussion. And actually, Mr. Bounds, if you would give us and the public a little brief overview, please.
Ma'am, just very quickly, those schools are currently designated R1, which is low-density residential, and that was appropriate when those schools were built. But anyone who's been in the area knows that the St. Andrews Harbison corridor has gone under a significant transformation over the last few decades, and really the appropriate zoning for those school areas now is C2, which is general commercial, and this is consistent with the Lexington County zoning ordinance dated October 2014, which permits community education in C2 areas. So we think this would appropriately zone those schools for future decisions by the county.
Are there any questions? Any questions about this?
Ms. Watson, I have one.
Yes.
Mr. Bounds, give me an example of something that we might need.
Sure.
That if we have it changed, that would make it easier for us to deal with it.
For example, the new the renovations to Irmo High School, under the current zoning, the largest sign could be 12 feet tall, but all the signs around it from all the commercial enterprises are 35 feet tall. And so if we have the appropriate zoning ordinance, then we could put a sign that would better fit in the area.
Okay. Any others? All right. Hearing no other questions or comments, like to ask all in favor of approving the request for permission to seek commercial zoning for Irmo High School, Irmo Middle, and Crossroads Middle, please raise your hands. All opposed? That passes 6-0. That ends our action agenda. Next is our discussion agenda, which is